Hello everyone and welcome back to Loafs Guide to Deadside, and today we're going to talk about money. I already have a guide about how to get gear and money in general. It's a bit older, but all the information is still good. But in this video, we're going to talk specifically about some strategies that you can use to make lots of money in Deadside very quickly. Also, if you enjoy this sort of content, be sure to subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. So, first let's talk about what you guys probably saw in the thumbnail, detonators. A few days ago, somebody commented on my old video talking about a method that they used to make money by crafting detonators, and honestly, I can't believe I didn't realize this sooner. Detonators sell to the trader for 5k, and I knew that, but I didn't connect that into my head for how cheap they are to craft. They only cost one electronic component and one spare part. These are very common items that spawn almost everywhere in the world. So, let's say I just went out and picked up 5 of these items, boom, that's 25k profit. And that's just from stuff that most players would probably not even bother picking up or taking. I mean, loot runs to industrial areas were already pretty profitable, and this just makes it that much better. I'm going to be talking about some loot routes in a bit that take advantage of this, but you can use this strategy no matter what you're doing, really. Let's just say you're doing an epic mission down in the factory, where there's tons of industrial spawns. If you just pick up electronic components and spare parts as you're completing the mission, you can just make yourself a bunch more profit. This is also really nice when you're just starting out in a server, because it can allow you to get some decent money without actually having to risk your gear or time at missions. I really would not be surprised that by the time the next patch rolls around, it's going to cost more electronic components or maybe even something else. But until then, this is a really good way to get money. So let's talk about some loot routes you can use to take advantage of this. There are some areas that are pretty obvious and are very good for finding these items, like the Northeast Military Base and the bunker. That area is very good for electronic components and spare parts. And they also have military spawns and high-tier industrial spawns. Same goes for the factory down in the southwest, and any of the two sawmill locations that are also very good. You can also go to the small military areas like radio or tents, and the south military base is decent too. But honestly, that base is pretty far away from anything, and honestly not all that much spawns there compared to how long it takes to get there. Setting up a base nearby to one of these places is a great way to farm up a lot of gear and money, so just find a place you like and get to crafting a base. Now, there are two spots specifically that I want to talk about in this video. It's the West Lighthouse and Yantar. These two places are going to be the targets of the loot runs I've been using recently to make lots of money. So, let me just walk you through the process, start to finish, of how you could use this route yourself. So, let's talk about the kind of kit you want to run when doing these types of loot runs. First, the most important thing you're going to need is some kind of bag. Any of these will do. The 5k duffel bag are fine. I found this Typhoon. This is the kit I've been running. You don't need to run anything near this fancy. If you have the money to invest, then yeah, go ahead and get some armor. Otherwise, you're pretty much good with just a 1911. They're pretty cheap. You can just pick one up. Scorps are also fine. You really only need one gun so that you could just pick up more from the bots. If you're still worried about PvP throughout all this, I highly suggest playing early in the morning when there aren't that many people on. Usually the only people that are on are base building or just farming themselves, so the chance you run into somebody are pretty slim. So now that you have your kit ready, we can start the run. First, we're going to make our way to Berigovoy. Some people call it Brigovi. I've been calling it that for the last month or so. Doesn't really matter. It's right here in the map though. There are some storage units here specifically that we're going to be going to. They're located between the main bit of the town and the dot to the north of it. So just walk along the road, and to your left you should see these storage units. There might be some bots there, but usually it's pretty empty, and this is a very good spot for finding electronic components, the gray crates. You can find tools, pretty much any crafting material, and this is the perfect spot for this type of run. And we're going to be coming back here after we're done, so definitely clear it all out. Then we can make our way to Luzerny. Luzerny is kind of like a small little miniature version of Yantar, but just quickly run through. Usually there's not all that many great stuff, but because it's on the way to the lighthouse, you might as well just check and grab anything that's useful. Once you're done in Luzerny, you have two options. You can go straight to the lighthouse, or you can go more to the north to the little scav camp. This won't take you very much longer compared to just going straight to the lighthouse, but there's really not all that much there, so unless you're really wanting a bit of extra money, I don't think it's really worth your time. Once you get to the lighthouse, there can either be no mission or there could be a mission there. If there is a mission, don't worry about it, just clear it out. That's extra money for you. The bots can have helmets and other cool stuff like keys that you can take off of them. Just as you're killing the bots and working your way through, loot the whole place. But I'm going to give you a rundown of where stuff can spawn in the entire lighthouse, because if you don't know where to look, you might miss some important stuff. Here in the gray shed up on top of the balcony that you can climb up, there's a gray crate spawn, as well as some other random spawns on the floor. This whole cabin can spawn some good stuff, as long as you look around. From there, check the cars, and this goes for anywhere on the map. Always check cars. You can just walk up and hit tab and see if there's anything inside of them. It's kind of hard to tell if there's something inside because they're sitting down in the seats, so just walk up and hit tab and grab anything that's sitting there. From there, go to the garages. This is where I can find some tools pretty often, also some car batteries, but definitely worth going inside. And then from there, go into the main lighthouse building, and this is where you're going to find your electronic components, a lot of moonshine spawns in there, stuff like that. Once you've cleared out the first floor, go ahead up to the attic by climbing up this ladder. Not as much spawns up here, but there is a chance that there's some gray crates as well as some electronic components just laying around. And the last thing you want to do is run to the top of the lighthouse. Don't worry about looting the stuff on the stairwell, you can always loot it when you come back, so just run straight up and see if there's a VSD on the top. It doesn't spawn there very often, but it's definitely worth checking since VSDs are pretty valuable. There's also usually some type of healing liquid like vodka or moonshine or rubbing alcohol, as well as some sort of optic. On your way down, this is the time you should be looking at the windows. Sometimes there could be electronic components, there's usually pistols. Definitely worth checking. After that, you're pretty much done. Just go look around and see if you missed any cars or any of the little storage bins, and then make your way out. From here, we're basically doing the entire run in the reverse, so just run through Luzerne again. You don't need to be as thorough as you were the first time, because the chances that small stuff spawn is pretty rare. You're probably mainly at this point just looking for tools to replace the stuff that you've already filled your inventory with. And then finally you want to hit the storage units again. It's been a while since you've been here, probably around like 10-15 minutes, so there's definitely going to be some stuff there that has spawned since you were last there, so it's definitely worth checking. And then that's it, you're done. I've done this run a few times. I recorded 2 just for this video, and the first run took me 25 minutes exactly, and I even hit the scav camp, which took a little bit of extra few minutes, and it really didn't get me anything. I didn't see any players though, so at the same time it did go relatively smoothly. In total from that run I made 88.5k. The next run I got even better because there was a medium mission at the lighthouse, and I also found a VSD. Between all the stuff that I found, I made over 100k. I also had 6 extra electronic components which I kept, which is another 30k if I find the spare parts for it. Now keep in mind, I am playing on a 2x loot server, but honestly, it's really not all that different from a vanilla server. I feel like on a vanilla server, you can easily make around 70 to 60k, and on a boosted server, I can't even imagine the amount of gear you're gonna pull out of this. There is one issue though, you can't just do this run over and over again, you kind of want to give it time for all the stuff to respawn. So in the meantime, this is when I suggest you just quickly run right over to Yantar. Yantar is great for industrial items, it doesn't take all that long to loot, it'll probably only take you about 20 minutes. You definitely won't make as much, but if you loot all of Yantar, I still think you can come out easily with 30 to 50k. Which might not sound like much, but you probably earn less doing a mission which would take twice the time. After that, you can just go back and forth between the lighthouse and Yantar, and when you get bored of it, do a mission or event or a convoy or something. Honestly, I was really surprised how effective this loot run was going into it. Like, I knew it was going to be profitable because I ran Lighthouse before, but combining the Detonator meta with all the spots and trying to do it as fast as possible, I was not ready for pulling around 100k every 25 minutes. That is a lot of money. So I highly suggest you guys at least try this. So I think that's it for the video. I'm thinking of doing more guides soon, like an explosive guide or even a melee weapon guide, which I think that'd be pretty funny. But I hope you enjoyed the video. That's all I have for now. See ya.